If you look at the ocean and you see an iceberg, what are you actually seeing? You're seeing about 10% of the mass. The white peak, the jagged edges catching the sun. It looks huge. It looks like the whole story. But we know scientifically and practically that 90% of that mass is underwater. It's dark, it's unseen, and it's dangerous if you ignore it. Welcome back. I'm Joshua Van Veen. Today, I want to talk about how people are exactly like that iceberg. We tend to take words at face value. Someone says, "I'm fine." Someone says, "I don't like you." Someone says, "No." And we react to that top 10%. We react to the word, but the words are just the tip of the iceberg. The true meaning, the mass of the intent, is submerged. It's hidden under layers of past experiences, childhood habits, and emotional states that even the person speaking might not be fully aware of. Today, we are going to learn how to dive. We are going to look at why we say things we don't mean, how our childhood creates unconscious scripts, and how asking one simple question, why, can shift us from living a life of habit to living a life that is truly, authentically ours. With a hard one, conflict. When someone tells you, "I don't like you," or "I don't like what you're doing," what is your immediate reaction? Usually, it's defense. We take the words literally. We think they are rejecting me. But if we apply the iceberg theory, that statement could mean almost anything. Does it mean they generally don't like you as a human being? Rarely. Does it mean they are threatened by what you represent? Maybe. Does it mean they're hungry, tired, or overwhelmed, and you just happen to be the person standing there? Often, yes. There is a fascinating study I was reading recently by Jennifer Bear and colleagues, 2021. It discusses how we actually know very little about the minds of authentic people. We assume that when people speak, they are giving us a direct readout of their internal data, but they aren't. When someone pushes you away, they might be actually saying, "I'm not interested in anything positive right now because I'm in pain." But we don't hear the pain, we hear the rejection. This is where we get trapped. We spend our lives fighting the tip of the iceberg. We argue with words rather than addressing the mass underneath. And until we learn to look deeper, we are just ships crashing into the ice over and over again. I want to give you a concrete example of this, a personal one. It's about how we can mistake a logical no for the truth, when really it's just a cover for the feeling. I remember this vividly. I wanted to go on a ride on the back of a dirt bike. I went to my mom and asked, "Hey mom, can I go on the ride on the back of his dirt bike?" Her answer was an immediate no. Now, most people stop there. No means no, right? But if you want to understand the iceberg, you have to chip away at the ice. I asked, "Why?" She said, "Because you don't have the gear." Okay, logical. That's a solvable problem. So I said, "Okay, what if I get the gear?" Her answer, "No." Wait a minute. The gear was the reason a second ago, so asked why again. Why? She said, "Because I don't know them. I don't know if I can trust them to be safe." Okay, we've gone deeper. It's not about helmets anymore. It's about trust. So I counted. Okay, what if you could come and see how they ride? You can watch us. Why? We hit the bottom of the iceberg. She said, "Because if anything happens, I am not available. I already have a plan for what needs to be done today. I can't deal with a crisis. Did you see what happened there? The tip of the iceberg was safety gear. The bottom of the iceberg was her own schedule and anxiety about control. If I had just accepted the first no, or even the second reason, I would have walked away thinking the problem was my lack of a helmet. But the root cause was entirely different. Generally, we need to ask why, roughly 5 times to get to the root cause. This is something they use to engineer the 5 whys, but apply it to emotional intelligence too. The first answer is almost never the real answer. It's just the socially acceptable one. How do we break the pattern? How do we melt the ice? The science suggests that self-reflection, specifically asking why, is the key to well-being. Studies like those from Bailey et al. 2020 show a direct link between authentic self-expression and life satisfaction. But it's not easy. A study in 2021 noted that in the modern world, finding your true self is harder than ever because there is so much noise. Here is the practice I want you to try. When you are talking to others or even observing yourself, become an investigator. When you feel a strong emotion, anger, fear, jealousy, don't just feel it. Ask it a question. I am angry. Why? Because he cut me off in traffic? Why does that matter? Because it's disrespectful. Why is respect so important to me right now? Because I feel ignored at work. Boom. You're not angry at the car. You're hurt about your job. By slowly changing these subconscious habits into conscious ones, our lives become truly ours. We start to live authentically. Research in 2009 suggests that asking why from a bit of a distance helps us process our emotions better, helps us to stop reacting, and helps us to respond. If we don't slow down enough to ask ourselves questions or others, then we never know what it feels like to truly know thyself. We will just be skimming the surface, bumping into icebergs, never understanding what lies beneath.